Hello everyone, this is Marla Martenson and you are watching Conversations with Cupid. I am so excited about my guest today. Her name is Joanna DeVoe and she is the kick-ass witch. I decided to wear my Day of the Dead headband because I wanted to put a little magic in the interview, and I'm super excited because Joanna is one magical witchy woman. She is an expert in the law of attraction, creating a kick-ass life of your dreams. She's an incredible coach. She has a YouTube interview show. She has a podcast. She is a writer. She is an artist. I mean, this woman does it all. I'm gonna have to find out if she's a Gemini like me, because there's two people in here. We've got a lot of things we want to accomplish. I'm really excited about this interview, so without further ado, Joanna DeVoe.
Hi. So, Joanna DeVoe, the kick-ass witch. I'm so excited to have you and talk about some really cool witchy stuff.
Yay! Hi, Marla.
So, Joanna and I actually met because I watched some of her videos and I just thought she was so kick-ass that I emailed her to tell her, and she emailed me back, and now here we are.
Yay! It's so funny that we're in the same town and we're actually meeting face-to-face for the first time on the computer.
I know. We actually were going to have coffee together or breakfast a few weeks ago, and then it fell apart.
We will.
We will. Absolutely. So, and the one interesting thing about Joanna and I, we were in something called the 100-Day Reality Challenge, which Lilu Massé started with some other people, and then I saw your interview with Lilu as well, and that was great. And I got into the 100-Day Reality Challenge like in 2008, something like that. And then, so when did you start?
I think, I want to say 2011, but it might have been, yeah, it was 2011, early 2011.
So for people who don't know what that is, can you describe it a little bit, the 100-Day Reality Challenge, and are you still doing it?
I haven't been there in a long time. I just did it for, in that beginning, probably the first half of the year of 2011. So maybe it's changed, but it is a really cool community of people who practice mostly the law of attraction, and they give themselves a challenge for 100 days and then kind of hold themselves accountable in a group situation. I ended up going off into this witchy community, which I met a couple people there at CCOR and bonded, and then I just was kind of like, woo, shiny over here.
And now did you, because I'm all into the witchy stuff too. I mean, I've always, like, when I was a kid, I had a witch name. I named myself Hildegard.
Oh, how
That's
cool.
my witch name, so I always liked witches, but I'm not a witch, but I think just like you're not like a real witch, but you like the witchy stuff.
Yeah,
so
I like the witchy stuff.
Did you just get into the witchy stuff from some people at the 100-Day Reality Challenge, or you always were into that stuff?
That's a really long, complicated story. I've always loved magic, and I thought the law of attraction was magic. When it started working for me in particular, I was like, okay, if this isn't magic, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
But also, I thought when I was an old lady, like really old, I would finally get to call myself a witch, because people would be like, oh, just let her get away with it,
The old crone.
That like kooky old crone, so just let her get away with it. And I was on the reality challenge, and I made friends with someone there over the tarot section. There's like little categories where you can get into different things with people. And we made friends, and she private messaged me. She's like, I hope, I'm paraphrasing, it's been a while, but I hope you'll still be my friend, or that this doesn't freak you out, but I'm a witch. And I thought that was so, I don't know, kind of sad. Not her. I mean, she's a really happy, beautiful person, but just that she was like worried that I wouldn't like her, or that in saying that somehow I would think that she was a weirdo. And so I was like, what am I waiting for? I should just do it now. And I did, and it's a really amazing community of people. And I'm not a Wiccan, but I do have a lot of, I practice walking the wheel of the year. I love my tarot cards. I love my crystals. I'm a bit of a pantheist. I believe God is in all things, and all things are in the divine, both. That God is in everything. It's not really a man up in the sky.
Right.
So that's a very witchy perspective. So I guess I am a real witch. I call myself a witch, and
now,
I love it.
Do you read tarot cards?
Not for other people, but for myself every day. I love tarot cards.
And then the crystals, I'm a crystal healer and do Reiki, so I've got so many crystals, and I just brought a lot back from Seattle. Well, not a lot, but like 5 or 6 new ones from Seattle. And my husband's like, how many do you need? I'm like, but I didn't have these, and I got a really great deal. And so I've got to calm down on the crystal buying because, it gets a little out of hand. And I sleep with a different crystal every night.
Me too, always in my hand. I actually used to sleep with this fluorite skull. But fluorite is, his name was Frank, and he was very magical. But fluorite's very soft, and I was having nightmares at the time, and I flung him across the room a couple of times and, cracked pieces off his jaw. So I had to, move on to harder.
My story with fluorite is my ankles were getting so bad, I didn't know if it was arthritis or what, but when I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I was hobbling. They were in so much pain. I started sleeping with fluorite, which is great for arthritis, and my ankles are fine now.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty amazing.
It's a really interesting stone. And so I found some of the uglier ones, too, or the less impressive ones. I'll get a bond with. I've really been working with rhodonite a lot this year, and it's just, I don't know, I didn't, feel ooh, pretty, I have to have that.
Yeah.
I'm more of a lapis lazuli, that's my favorite, or lazuli, or however you want to say it. I say lapis lazuli.
I wear one. I don't have it on now, but I wear that every day, the lapis.
It's my favorite. But the rhodonite had an interesting effect on me, so I've been carrying that around with me every day for a while.
And so I love your website. It's called The Kick-Ass Witch. And so I'll put up the site, the link and everything. And it's got so many fun things on there that you have interviews that you've done of other people. And that's how I found you. And you have this. So let's talk about this wheel which I signed up for the module, the Wheel of the Year.
The Wheel of the Year, yes. So the Wheel of the Year, it's a pagan thing or a witchy thing, and it's just the wheel of the year. The actual calendar year, is broken into either 4 or 8 sections. So it would be the solstices, the winter solstice and the summer solstice, and then the equinoxes, autumn and spring. And then there's something called the cross-quarter days, which I call transitional periods. So it's a time for transitioning from one season into the next. So I wanted to make a wheel. I made a wheel called the Psycho-Spiritual Wheel of the Year that did not have a religious connotation. It was kind of like a non-denominational wheel that was more about psychological exploration, the point where psychology and spirituality meet. And I found, just in doing that for myself, that it actually fit really perfect with the changing seasons, that in certain seasons lent themselves to doing certain kinds of work. And so I did that for myself, and now I do it with the public as well. I offer this Psycho-Spiritual Wheel of the Year, which is a total mouthful.
I know, and the autumn one, this autumn-winter one, it's a lot of shadow work that you do, which you're really into the shadow work. So can you briefly explain what the shadow work is?
Yeah, your shadow it's all the things that you think are not acceptable, things that you might be ashamed of, that you've kind of shoved down, that you don't want the world to see. And it's tricky. It's hard to access what's in your shadow because you've hidden it so well that you've most likely hidden it for yourself. So,
or maybe let's say a woman keeps attracting the same kind of guy, maybe a verbal abuser or a cheater or something like that, and she doesn't. So she's got to delve into herself and find that and do that shadow work to find out why is she keep attracted to or attracting this kind of guy. Would that be shadow work that you're talking about?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it's getting to the root.
Getting to the root.
Yeah, and we trick ourselves kind of into not being able to see the other people can usually see it a lot better than we can. And, or the way you project onto people, if somebody really pushes your buttons and just irks you, there's usually a shadow there. You're usually projecting something either something that you have going on, or something that you've just repressed down, but that's there somewhere anyway. So projection is another cool trick for figuring out, like, oh, I think I have a shadow going on there, a shadow issue.
That's cool.
And you can break it down into archetypes, which is very helpful, because then you can name it the victim, as you were saying, like attracting a certain partner. If you always play the victim, like every relationship, that's a clue.
Yeah, that's a clue. That's something that I've had to deal with over the years. So that's my archetype, the victim.
Carolyn, we all have a victim. Yeah, we all have an inner victim.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also loved that the news. Well, not the news. It's the ebook that you send out if you go to Joanna DeVoe's website and sign up for her newsletter, you get an awesome ebook that is called, what's it called?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hippie witch, peace, love, and all that good shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hippie witch, peace, love, and all that shit. I loved it. It was great. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's like 7 steps to creating a kick-ass sense of self-love. But I wanted to name it something. Everything I do, I try to let people know, like, I have a little bit of a polarizing personality. I swear sometimes. I am not a guru. These are just things that I've learned in my own life, cleaning up my own messes and, doing my own shadow work and learning how to love myself. So
I love
share that.
The 7, I've got the 7 chapters. Sexy talk.
Yes.
AA for your inner mean girl. Yes means yes and so does no. Radical acts of extreme love. I love that one. Form of a power posse. Right? Form of a power posse. And go F yourself. And the shit list.
Yeah.
Now the radical acts of extreme self-love. Self-love is so important. And I in your interview with Teal Scott or Teal Swan, I don't know which she goes by now. I think Swan.
She's Swan now.
Swan. It's beautiful. She was talking about when she infused the water with love, and I've seen her talk about that in some other interviews. And literally, she would infuse a glass of water with love, and then drink it. And because she didn't have any self-esteem after what she went through, this ordeal. And I tried it up in Seattle. And my mother was in the hospital when I was in Seattle. She's been going through some things. And so I took her water and I put Reiki and love and stuff, infused the water with it, and then gave it to her to drink. And then I did one for myself. And I think it was like so fun. It's just these little magical things that we can add to our lives and stuff. And I think that's what you bring with your website and your work. It's just like bringing these little things from all these different places for people to apply and make their lives a little more magical and fun and
the Dr. Emoto, who discovered the water thing, he recently died. He just died last week. But he was very interesting. But he was the one that did those experiments where he would put a word on the water and then look under the microscope and it would literally change. Yes.
The crystallized. And if you said hateful words to the water, it would make these ugly formations. And then if you said, great things, it would make these beautiful formations.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, that was great.
To me, that's all, it's so tied up with magic and Hermeticism, or I'm a person that believes there's sort of a steps to creation, so maybe water is less solid, let's say, than something solid. So it's interesting that the molecular structure would change at that point, but a thought is even less tangible, than water. Air is even less hard to grasp onto. So if you start with air, you can change the structure of water, and then you can go on to change more dense matter, and I think that's really interesting too.
Well, and Teal was saying that the water is the highest vibration, and so that's why a lot of the dolphins and a lot of the animals that live in the water have a higher vibration, and so that was very interesting. And I'm wondering, though, that with all the chlorine and pollution and everything we put in the water, if the vibration is still high, and because she says it's great to be in water, but when I swim in my pool, I've got the chlorine, and in the shower, there's chlorine, so that's a question to find out, right?
Yeah, we've kind of just poisoned everything. I
know. It's just awful. So, let's see. You know what? There was also I wrote some notes here because as a matchmaker, I deal with relationships and dating and everything. And there was one exercise you have in either your ebook or I think it was the ebook or the module where you release a relationship and you're burning your
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Because a lot of people, they'll come to me to be matched up and then they are bitter from the last relationship, or they're hurt, or they can't let go, or they're still going back and forth, and I loved this ritual that you had to release old things. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of shadow work, is to go in there and move things around, shine some light on some things so you don't keep attracting the same thing over and over and over again. So once you have a sense of awareness that, like, okay, I am creating this, I'm participating in this, I don't want this anymore, then you can create a ritual for yourself that goes deep into your psyche. I believe that ritualizing these things actually speaks to our soul, that our soul speaks in symbols, not necessarily words or thoughts, and that going through an action, drives that sense of release deeper down. So you might create a funeral for a specific relationship or a specific kind of relationship, and you could get super into it. You could do the whole funeral rite. You could have a wake. You could have a burial ceremony or a burning ceremony, but something that signifies that you're releasing it. You can do it with a sense of humor. You can laugh. If that's, laughing, I think, is very releasing, or you can cry, but being very focused in the moment and actually going through the ritual of letting something go can be so powerful. And then, of course, you want to follow that up with actions that are in alignment with that afterwards. So it's a moment in time that marks, that was then, this is now.
Yeah, so. and you had even something which I loved written in there. It's like you can say something like this particular one: it is with great reverence for the growth that occurred within my relationship with Harry, and gratitude for the love we shared, that I now lay to rest the hopes and dreams we held for our future together. I deeply and completely accept the death of our union, forgiving all hurts and releasing all lingering attachments to what might have been. I release us both in peace, cutting all psychic ties and lifting the burden of regret. May we both be blessed by our past together in a way that empowers our future apart. And so it is, in love and peace. Amen.
Yeah. I still love that.
I love that. It's just like so important, because we'll break up or split up and then just be bickering and maybe bad-mouthing each other or fighting over the furniture or the kids or the pets, and without honoring what we had together and honoring our feelings about it and letting it go, and more peaceful and coming to a more centered space, because it's just spewing out all this negativity. And even the feedback I get, people going on dates, they're using their date to just like talk about all their problems with their ex or what they're going through.
That's the worst.
Right. So I think if you go through something like this and release it, you can let that go. You don't feel the need to be talking about it all the time.
Yeah, cut those cords. I think too, it's important to acknowledge that some people deal with hurt and sadness by being angry and acting out, and you can only be responsible for yourself. So if your ex is gonna do the whole crazy circus, it's important to get grounded with your intentions and just send them love, let them do their thing. I think it helps to be like, okay, they're really sad, they're really hurting, and this is the only way they have of expressing that. That's
right. That's true.
That's how they do it. So, I can feel compassion for that, as opposed to just being like, man, that guy is an asshole.
I know, yeah, because nobody sets out to be an asshole.
Well, we try not to be, yeah.
I mean, it's like, I'm going to be an asshole. It's more just coming from reacting. Exactly. So talking about that, reacting, you're a coach, too. You're a life coach. So tell us a little bit about that, because you have a different twist on the coaching.
Yeah, I do. What I really love to do is help people create businesses. So I offer like BizWitch coaching, because BizWitch is something I do occasionally. I just share what works for me in my business and what I've learned along the way. So I like to work with beginners that way. And those have been the most fun coaching sessions that I've had, because I'm just a passionate entrepreneur, and I love to help people get clarity around that and get really focused. But I also work with people They tend to contact me when they have depression and anxiety issues because I myself have talked a lot about having experiences with that. But yeah, so I like to tell it like it is and keep it real because I just feel like if someone is paying for your time, they're not paying for hand holding and even friendship per se. You want somebody who's just going to be honest with you and be like, okay, let's see how much we can get done in 60 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I call it like kick-ass, kick-ass coaching that doesn't suck.
So you have these things that they've got to get done, and then you check in the next time and you say, okay, you've got this list. Accountability
is so important.
Accountability, it's really important.
And then there's no shame. I mean, I've worked with people that like never do what they're supposed to do, and they're like, I don't even want to talk to you today. I didn't do it at all, but that's part of the process too, is figuring out why, why do you sabotage or why do you have resistance? So it's all progress. It's all work, doing the work. Even if when you show up for that accountability call or email, you haven't done the thing, that's still a clue that can get you closer to where you want to be.
Exactly. And otherwise you're just wasted money just doing all these coaching calls if you don't do anything about it. So that hopefully makes people like, I'm paying for this, I better do it,
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't set out to be a coach. It actually, people started coming to me because I do a weekly radio show, and I actually had a bunch of people ask me to do coaching, and I kept turning them away. Like, I'm not a coach. I don't want to be a coach. And then I just started thinking, well, maybe this is just part of my path because people keep coming to me for this. I love to help people, create the kick-ass life of their dreams, which is the theme of Kick-Ass Witch. So I accepted one, and I really enjoyed it, and so I just kind of kept it going. But because I didn't set out to create a coaching business, I'm kind of, maybe this isn't the best for business, but I'm kind of like, get them in and get them out. Like, get them on their path. I'm not trying to keep people in my system and figure out how to, like, get their money and keep them
You're not like,
as clients. I just want to get them in and out and on their path. And so, that's kind of how I operate. I mean, they're always welcome to come back, and they do sometimes too, but it's not really set up to be an ongoing forever thing.
All right. So, and then your radio show, tell us about that.
That is an ongoing forever thing. I love it. I love doing this. It's very casual and kooky every Tuesday at noon Pacific. It's called Hippie Witch, Magic for a New Age. And
is it on Blog Talk Radio? Blog Talk, or where is it?
Yeah. I think the best thing to do is just subscribe on iTunes, because then it just comes to you every week. But you can find it on Blog Talk, which is where I host it, or iTunes, or my website. I index them all.
Everything's on the website. All right. Cool. Yeah. Your website is so colorful and so fun. Did you design it yourself?
Yeah. I had a company that I started in 2003 called Koshi that was those colors, that style of illustration. And I did a lot of things under Koshi, but it was largely illustration, this hand-illustrated style. But so I kind of think of Kick-Ass Witch as Koshi with soul. It has a purpose instead of just being fun to look at or...
Right.
I talked a lot about pop culture and stuff, but back then, but now it's got more of a purpose. It feels more in alignment.
Right? Because those amazing illustrations, you did them yourself.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. When you get the wheel and you get her ebook, you're going to see the illustrations. They're just fantastic. I mean, I'm like an artist inside, but I can't draw. It's like so I'm always in awe of people who can draw, and your illustrations are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. They're a little, it's definitely lowbrow, kind of almost like tattoo style, but it's the same style I've been drawing in forever that it just stuck. It just felt like me, so I always draw on that color theme and always that same kind of look and feel.
Oh, great. All right. Well, let's see. What I was going to say is, so people can go to your website, they can sign up, and I just want to thank you for spending this time with us. And you definitely got to sign up for her newsletter and check out the wheel, the because I'm on there. I'm on the there's a private Facebook page, and we're all like doing our shadow work and our that wheel just going round and round. And I'm looking forward to in 365 days to being a brand new woman.
Yeah. Oh, the website is www.joannadevoe.com.
Yes, and I'm gonna
Everything's there.
Well, I'm gonna put it right up there.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Over there. All right. Thank you so much, Joanna.
Hey, thank you. This was great.